A friend of mine recommended that I watch Pam and Tommy.
Oh yeah, the Disney Plus
On
show.
Star Disney Plus.
Lily James did a bit of prosthetic.
A lot of prosthetic.
As Pamela Anderson.
Wow. Yeah, if you didn't know, Pam and Tommy is based on the true story about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, about the sex tape that got leaked and the story all behind it. And you've got, yes.
Who's Tommy Lee?
Tommy Lee is the drummer of the band Motley Crue. You know
Right.
Motley Crue.
Okay.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
Like
sweet
American hair metal, yeah.
Rock and roll was super popular in the 1980s and were very much like a relic of that era. And in the 90s, they kind of struggled when everyone shifted into like Nirvana grunge.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, great songs. Super crazy rock star, like tribal tattoos everywhere.
Hair metal, and just like
Doing like, there's a famous video where one of them does a line of cocaine that's like along this huge banister, and he like snorts it all the way across. Wow. It's like rock and roll.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay.
But anyway, this is all about. It starts off about this character called Rand, played by Seth Rogen, who's playing a largely non-comedic role. For the first time, I think I've actually seen him do it. Steve Jobs, you're right, Steve Jobs. And he's really good in it. And there are comedic elements to his role, but he basically plays this guy who's a carpenter at Tommy Lee's house who's doing a refurbishment. And Tommy Lee is this like unhinged, crazy rock star who keeps coming down to all these renovations. And he's like, nah, change it, man. I want a swing that goes from the ceiling. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, we've just spent 2 days putting your bed here. Like, you realize it's going to take another 2 days to move it. And he's like, yeah, just do it. And they're like, okay, well, you need to give us money up front. Like, you already owe us $14,000. And he's like, what? Why? And the relationship breaks down, and he ends up firing them without paying them. And Rand is like, you know what? Of this guy, I'm gonna go back and get my tools. I'm gonna go steal something. And he takes this safe inside Tommy. This isn't a spoiler. He takes this safe, and inside the safe is like some guns, some cash, some jewelry.
He's able to open the safe.
He like saws it open and everything, and he finds this tape, and he doesn't find the tape for like days. It like sits on the floor of his house, and he finds the tape and realizes what happens, and the story goes on from there, and you learn a lot about Pamela Anderson and everything that happened with her and who Tommy Lee is. And what I found, my main takeaway, which I found interesting, because I think the story is fairly interesting, but there's nothing about it where I'm like, oh my God, that happened. But what I thought was really interesting is that this was one of the first pieces of media that went viral on the internet. And there's this amazing moment where Seth Rogen's character and Nick Offerman's character are trying to figure out how they get this to more people. Because it's a stolen tape. And they're going to all the porn distributors in the whole of LA, and none of them will take it because it's an illegal tape and they don't have permission to use it. And there's this moment where they go, why don't we just put it on the internet? What do you mean the internet? What's the internet? We just put it up on the internet. How are they going to sue us? Like, sue who? It'll be anonymous. What, we can just list it for free and people will buy it. And it's this thing where there's like a Pam and Tommy sex tape page, and then you pay them money and they will send you the tape. And it covers a lot of this, like, what does it mean to have something spread in a way that never has before? Yeah. It was the first time that they started to like figure out how to upload videos to the internet, where they didn't even believe that was possible. What do you mean you're going to watch it? How are you watching that on your computer? Like, that's not possible. So that was something I found so fascinating, because I grew up with slow internet, but like over the years, I've sort of forgotten about how seamless it is now versus how it was. And then you get this really great backstory of Pamela Anderson and what it means in what the difference is between doing something pornographic where you give consent for someone to watch yourself have sex on camera, and the difference between taking someone's private, intimate, personal interaction with their partner and putting it online for everyone to see, and the way that Pamela Anderson is treated for having already been viewed as a sex symbol, and the way in which she's perceived on Baywatch is obviously incredibly sexualized. And when she's trying to stop this tape from circulating, like the way in which she's treated for wanting to like, so she wants to stop this thing getting up, but no one has any sympathy because you make money off of your body and selling, so why would you even care? And it's about understanding that distinction and other characters sort of realizing what damage that does. And it is very entertaining. Again, kind of with the Jared Leto thing, I've not yet been like, why has this been made? Like, what is the crazy part of the story? And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that happened. But I will give a shout out to Lily James, who I've not been in love with before, but she really does lose herself in this performance, and she's unrecognizable. Yeah. Full prosthetic, like boobs, nose, everything is just completely like, I was like, that I can't believe that's Lily James. That's what I think Pamela Anderson looks like now. And Sebastian Stan, who I think is really, really brilliant in this. And I can tell he's loving his costume and his hair and his goatee and his tribal tattoos. And he's completely losing himself in this like rock and roll persona. But I've not really seen him do that kind of more broad, large acting before, because I find Winter Soldier a little bit one note.
Well, it's really interesting you bring this up because I haven't seen Pam and Tommy. I might go watch it now. I
think you should.
You say it's good fun watch. But interesting to talk about Sebastian Stan because I agree. When I've seen him he's got the dullest character in the whole MCU of Bucky, of the Winter Soldier.
And in the TV show where they flesh it out, it doesn't.
That's why I never wanted to watch it. And I always looked at him in that, and I always believed that I thought this guy is clearly a better actor than this. He's just stuck with this rubbish role of this monotonous, dull, straight-faced. He's basically playing a robot, right?
Yeah.
So
it's the same thing every scene with him.
But so I haven't seen Pam and Tommy, but I did watch Fresh, which is on Disney Plus, which is the new film with Daisy Edgar Jones from Normal People. Did you watch Normal People?
Yeah.
Great. Like everyone else in the country during
broke
lockdown.
My heart. It gave me so much anxiety, but it was unbelievable. Probably the best TV show I watched.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So great to see Daisy Edgar Jones, in a lead role, and it's her and Sebastian Stan. So just a quick summary of what the film's about. Daisy Edgar Jones is an American, just about. I'll say, with the accent, a little bit soft.
Interesting, because her Irish accent was
fantastic. It's a very soft American accent. I can hear the Englishness coming through a little bit.
Okay.
However, she is still great, very good actress.
Yeah.
She is in LA. She is having a very depressing time on the dating scene, on dating apps. You see her on very depressing dates. And then she has this very sort of honest, natural interaction with Sebastian Stan at the grocery store about food. And they both love food. They both talk about it. And they get each other's number and they go on a date and they have a really nice time. And it's, wonderful. And they clearly hit it off. There's something slightly mysterious about him, but like he's a doctor. He's really charming. And then they go away for a weekend. And then something happens. Something bad, something very thrillery, and something a bit nasty, which I won't say.
All right.
But James, slight digression. How long into a movie do you think, how late in a movie would you expect the title credits to come in?
At the latest, 5 to 10 minutes at the very latest.
The titles for this film, where it says the title of the film and starring, comes in 40 minutes in.
What?
How long? I tell you what, it's bold. It's bold. The film is like just over an hour and a half, and it comes in at like 40 minutes. It's basically the end of Act 1, if you can imagine the 3-act structure.
Yeah, okay.
And I went, that's bold. It doesn't quite work because I'm now thinking of these people as actors, and it's removed the fact that they're characters because it's going Sebastian Stan, Daisy Edgar Jones, right?
So it's got like a huge prologue.
It's just but you just think you're watching the film, and then it just goes when the big thing happens at the end of Act 1.
I see.
And then it goes fresh. Then they play the music. It's like Sebastian Stan,
wow.
And I'm like, there's only like another 50 minutes of the film left.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused. It's bold. I don't think it works. But Anyway,
it's a talking point. We're talking about it.
Yeah, sure. And then I have to say, unfortunately, the film gets quite silly and falls into very generic thriller territory, and actually it's pretty underwhelming.
Oh, okay.
But Sebastian Stan in it is really good. He's having a great time. And
he's going to be a huge
You
star.
just see him you see him like unshackled and just enjoying this thing. And I think he would be really good as a villain. Do you know what? I was watching him because he is a villain and villainous sort of air in this film.
Yeah.
I was like, I really wish he'd been in the Bond film instead of Rami Malek. I think he really could have done something.
Interesting shout.
Because he's got something in this that I'm just like, instead of doing the flat monotonous that Rami Malek did, Sebastian Stan has got charisma, and I really look forward to seeing him do more. And I'm glad that he's got this Pam and Tommy show.
Yeah.
And because remember he did I, Tonya? And I saw him in that, and I thought, oh, good, you clearly have something else here. So
in Pam and Tommy, he's all over the wall. He bounces off the walls.
Yeah.
It's like you've just not seen an actor do that. I'm like, oh yeah, fair play, go for it.
Yeah,
go mad.
I really want him to be more of a leading man, and because I think he's really interesting to watch.
Yeah,
I think he's a really interesting presence. So, and even now, like you're talking about the Jared Leto thing, why can't he have played? Why couldn't that have been played by Sebastian Stan?
Yeah,
why
give
can't
Sebastian Stan
all the roles?
George is getting commission if Sebastian Stan gets a role.
Sebastian Stan.
There you go.
So I look forward to seeing him more. So great, I'll check out Pam and Tommy. Fresh is so, but Sebastian Stan, let's see what he's got next.
And if there's one thing which I think Pam and Tommy does really well, is it really enjoys its time frame, and there are so many moments you go like, God, yeah, that is the 90s, isn't it? And it's not just because of the hair and the outfits. It's like interactions that people say and the approaches that people have, and that's why I enjoy its setting so much more than like House of Gucci being set in the 70s and 80s, right? It's quite fun to see that in my mind is not that long ago, but when
actually,
you think about like media, digital,
it's
our perceptions of pop culture,
just
completely night and day.
I'm just going to get up Sebastian Stan's IMDb to see what he's got coming up, to see if people have listened to us, and he is going to be...
Is he doing more Marvel? Like, I don't even know what Marvel stuff he's doing.
No, Beat the Reaper, don't know what that is.
Cool.
The Brutalist. Oh, he's in a film. He's in a film coming up with Mark Rylance and Vanessa Kirby.
Ooh,
so that with and Joel Edgerton and Marion Cotillard. Hello. It's called The Brutalist. An architect emigrates to the United States in 1947 and spends the next 3 decades developing his masterpiece. It's in pre-production though, so anything can happen with that.
Yeah.
And then he's in
a great cast.
Another film called Sharper, which is in post-production. A con artist takes on Manhattan's billionaires.
Love it.
Sebastian Stan, Julianne Moore, John Lithgow.
Yeah, love John Lithgow.
And that's about it for the big names. But that could be something. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
Seems
what
like he's having
next.
a good. Like he's had like a lot of things come out in succession where everyone's going, yeah, Sebastian Stan's really good in this.
And maybe he will be in Succession.
Ah.